Recognize your emperor.
What's up, guys? What's up? How is everybody doing tonight? I hope we are all having a great time. Yo, I'm very proud of myself. Let me start by just saying I'm very, very proud of myself right now. Why? Because I spent all day working on this overlay for today. I woke up. I knew that I always wanted to do a podcast kind of thing, right? But this morning, I just kind of woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna I'm just gonna do it. I don't even know what I'm gonna talk about necessarily, but I wanna do it. So I started working on stuff. I started just running with the theme. The theme of it, sorry, the name of the podcast is called For the People because hey, it's for everybody, myself included. So this is, I guess, the introduction to the very first episode of the podcast. So welcome in everybody. It's glad to see you. I will be uploading it to YouTube as well. So for those that are listening on YouTube, hi, I'm Nichols. Nice to meet you. The whole purpose of the podcast is really just for everyone. I don't want to like seclude any particular type of person. I think that most of the topics that we're going to talk about on the podcast are going to be things that I guess everyone goes through. Whether you are an adult, a teenager, I think that I think that the topics that we'll cover would be able to be useful to everybody, hopefully. And I really want to stress that interactivity should be main focus of everything because like I said, it's for me as well. I'm gonna bring my issues to you guys. I'm gonna try to set up something so that people that want to submit um, questions or queries or topics for themselves, they'd be able to do that anonymously. But I have to figure out how to do that. I really just want that we can all come together and talk about problems. It'll be mostly me talking to begin with, but hey, you know, there'll be certain points where people on stream may be able to join me in Discord or, just type in chat. That's what it's there for. So I think that this is the beginning of something that could be very, very interesting, very fun, and I've noticed that I like to talk a lot. So, hey, there's also that. Oh, by the way, today is Friday. I've been kind of saying it all week long, but today we're also going to start one of my subscriber perks, Sub Hotline. Now, I got the idea from other streams, but basically, the whole point of Sub Hotline is that if you're a sub, you can pay the channel points fee of 2,000 channel points. Channel points are free. You just gotta watch the stream, pay the fee, and when I see that you pay the fee, I'll set it up. We can jump in Discord. We can talk for a little bit. I think I'll mostly do that when I'm doing this podcast section. So I'll have to adjust the settings and whatnot. But I'll be able to talk to you guys. You can talk to me about whatever you want to talk to me about. If you just want to tell me how your day was, if you just want to say hi, or if you also just want to add to the topic on stream for that podcast, feel free. It'll be good to get to know you guys and figure out what your mindset is when it comes to some of these topics. I'm like kind of nervous, not gonna lie, kind of nervous. It's a new project. I don't feel as prepared, but bear with me. That's all I could really say. Bear with me. I'll start to get into the podcast for today. So I gave the introduction earlier. Um, Podcast is really just for you guys to talk to me, talk with me. I speak with you. We kind of bounce ideas off of each other, give advice to each other. Of course, nothing here is professional, but nothing beats a conversation, right? And today's topic, I'm literally reading from a notepad, by the way. I don't have many points, I don't have many things down here, but I'll read the points that I do have and I'll run with it for now. In future, I'll try to be a lot more organized and prepared, but again, I kind of just woke up and told myself this is what I want to do today. Finally, and here I am. So the topic of today is healing. This is healing in regards to emotional pain or mental pain. If you want to heal physical pain, then you go to a doctor for that. This is not the place to be, okay? If you want to heal physical pain, hospitals, doctors, see a professional. I mean, you should probably see a professional anyway, right? For any of these problems. Getting myself within like the mindset to talk about it is tough. The only point that I have here under this right now is your boy been going through it. And that is just true. I've said that I haven't been in the greatest of mindsets lately. Some days are kind of rough, some days aren't that rough, some days are pretty good. But what I've found is that talking to people tends to help so much. Or even if they're just listening. Because from talking to people, I've realized that when I start talking, I talk a lot. I talk my ear off. I talk their ears off. And it's therapeutic for me, right? Even if I've had this conversation with myself many, many, many times before, it always makes me feel a little better to just get things off my chest. Like I've just been going through so much mental work lately. I guess to start, I'll share, some of what's been going on in my life. I'm not going to overshare. I'll try not to overshare. But I definitely think that sharing the story or sharing some stories help people to feel a little more connected to what you're saying. And when people feel connected, then I don't know, it hits home a lot more or a lot better. And who knows? When things are relatable and you can apply it to what's going on in your life, or you can tell somebody else who, if they're going through similar things, that's the word I'm trying to find there. It can help. So it really starts back from a couple years ago. Not going to get too deep into it. I've had I've had a lot of issues, okay? I may ramble for a bit because this is me just trying to get my thoughts together. It happens all the time. But let's start with the fact that I use a wheelchair, okay? I think it's clear as day that any person with a disability um kind of has a rough time, right? Going through life. It's never really easy. Yeah, that's kind of obvious, but I guess you never truly know how difficult things are unless you're in that position, right? Now, I've been unable to walk since I got in my car accident 3 days after my very first birthday. So I was born on February 28th. On March 3rd, I got into a car accident. I could never walk since then. And I'm 26 this year, 2021. So that's what, 25 years, a quarter of a life not being able to walk. And it affects so much. It affects so much of your mindset between, hey, can I ever find a job in life? Can I ever feel like I'm really attractive to people? Will I fit in with certain crowds? Will I always be ostracized or alienated? Even if it's not true, the thoughts will always be in your head. It affects so much of my interactions with my friends, with my family, because there's a lot of me that feels like, hey, I may just be a burden to like everybody. I may be a burden to people just by existing because, hey, by me existing in the state that I am in, and I put it like that because that's how I feel on the inside sometimes. My dad has to work extra hard to make sure that I have the things that I need. My mom has had to go to the moon and back, basically, to get me to hospitals and speak to lawyers and all these various things. Make sure that I have a life that is not as disadvantageous as one may think. I'm trying to like piece together the words. Basically, I just feel like a huge burden sometimes. Everything that I'm going to talk about will come back to what happened to me last year in November. Because last year in November, I hit a really, really low point in my life, and it was just a huge culmination of everything that's been going on, from relationships to my own personal feelings to, my doubts and everything else. I felt like I was never really going to achieve anything, even though for years I've been telling myself that I'll work super hard, I'll try my best, and I'll always succeed because, hey, I'm working really hard, right? Hard work pays off. So that's, uh, yeah. Hey, Mabel, welcome in, by the way. You're not a burden. Sexy, you're kind, and you're smart. Better than some assholes and killers in the world. And see, comments like that really mean a lot to me. Ross says, "Am I attractive to people?" This time, Nick is the sexy man I know. Is the sexiest man I know, dude. And honestly, friends like this have helped me to not beat myself up so much. They've helped me to pull myself through super, super rough times. They keep my head above the water. Is how I'll put it. Family has been it's been a little rough in the beginning, but after November last year, when I went through my super, super depressive moments, we've gotten a lot better. And, we're going forward. We're going forward. I'm getting a better connection with my dad, with the people in the house, with my family in general, because I was never really the closest with them. It was really a relationship of, hey, I'm in a wheelchair, and they got to try to figure out how to take care of me, right? So a lot of it is, hey, I'll do stuff for him. He never has to do anything. But at the same time, we're not really talking. We're not really that close as a family. Keep your head up, King. Definitely trying, dude. Welcome in. After I guess being naked in front of all of them in a non-literal sense, um, things have gotten better. Things have gotten a lot better. My relationships have never really been the greatest of relationships. Um, for one reason or another, right? And it always kind of makes me wonder if they say that, hey, it's not about the wheelchair, it's not about the fact that you can't walk. But then when the relationships go south and, all is said and done, I sit and I think, well, hey, was it actually because of the wheelchair? Like, because I can't walk, did people feel as though, they could take advantage of me? Did people feel as though he can't walk, he feels bad about himself, maybe I can get something out of him, you know? And I'll never truly know. I can only trust what people say to an extent, but in the back of my mind, that's what I'm always thinking about. So it's a little difficult to really come forward or move forward from certain points in my life. Why do I relate from a different perspective? I'm not sure, but this is why I'm here. Maybe me speaking freely will help out somebody somewhere out there. I thought I could take advantage, but then we became friends. That's crazy. Ross is just a jokester. Oh my goodness. I am healing from a lot of crap that I've been through from last year, from years before. I'm not 100% like the happiest person in the world, but right now in life, I feel a lot happier than I was, right? I feel a lot happier than last year, as a whole, really. Um, I've really made strides in the things that I wanted to do. My streams have been more consistent. They've been way more abundant than ever before, really. They're growing. I'm getting way more creative. I'm expressing myself in a lot of different ways, and that's really like having a positive impact on my mindset. I recently been through a breakup, and it's not been easy. Breakups are never easy. A lot of things happen in relationships. Sometimes they leave you in really, really bad mind states. For me, that's kind of where I've been at. My last relationship was a little bit rough, and I guess that's saying it really lightly. It had its really low points, and I'm still trying to get over those low points. And I know deep down inside that it's really just a matter of time, right? That's one of those generic answers that people give. Hey, there's nothing you can do really. Just let time take over, right? Distract yourself, do other things, keep your mind busy, and let time just heal it for you. But honestly, my answer to that is that I found that distractions really don't do crap for you. I'm gonna try to keep things PG, by the way, so I'm trying not to like swear, but distractions really don't do much for you, in my opinion or my experience, right? From the beginning of this year, I've tried to distract myself in the very real sense of that word by, hey, committing more time to streams, trying to exercise a lot more, trying to think more about, hey, what can I do to make streams better? How can I advance, or how can I, get more viewers or whatever? I kind of made streaming my main focus, but I think I did that with the wrong mindset or with the wrong like motive behind it, right? I focused on streaming to kind of get away from a different problem, not focused on streaming because, hey, I really want to look at streaming as something I really want to keep pushing and keep doing because I genuinely love it. So every time I booted up the stream, it kind of added this extra pressure to perform, right? I had to do really well, otherwise I would feel like I'm wasting my time. And me being myself, I absolutely hate wasting my time. So that was like doubly bad for me. It was a really bad double-edged sword. If you cover up crap with a nice smell, it's just going to smell like a nice crap. Exactly. Exactly that. If you try to cover things up, it doesn't actually remove it. It's there. There's just a lot of extra stuff on it now. And now you've got to try to figure out or try to deal with this extra mess that you're creating instead of just sitting there, try to sort out the mess that you're already through and go forward from there. Emmy says, thank you for sharing. Even though I don't go through the same situation, I do recognize a lot of myself. I do recognize myself in a lot of the feelings that I say. And I'm glad that it could do something for you. Like I said, for me right now, this is kind of like therapy. So you guys are in the chair. You got your notepads out. I'm here talking my ass off, and I'm going to town. But at the same time, being relatable is, I think, one of the most crucial aspects to trying to connect with people, right? Once people realize that, hey, it's not only me, and oh my God, that almost made me cry, right? When I realized that it's not only me going through tough things, it made me feel like 10 times better. I talked to so many friends, and they're not necessarily going through relationship breakups or trouble with their family or dealing with disabilities, but they're going through their own things that to me seem a lot worse than what I'm going through. Obviously, COVID is a thing that's affecting the world right now, and it's not having a positive impact on anyone, really. COVID is causing people to be really depressed. People are staying home. They've never been accustomed to really staying home or being forced inside. And a part of me, like, kind of realizes that, hey, is this like, I mean, this is a bit of a stretch, but is this like what people in prison feel like? You know? Prison is not a great place to be, because it isolates you. Basically, the entire world is kind of isolating themselves within their homes, right? Yeah, you have family, but what if you're in a situation like I am, right? Where you didn't feel like you're necessarily that close to your family. So I'm just in my house and I'm talking to no one, even though I'm in my house with my family. I'm talking to no one. I'm in my room every day. I eat my food in my room, right? And this is not necessarily the fault of my family, right? Don't get it mixed up. This is just how I felt and how I dealt with things. So the option of going outside the house to hang out with friends or to feel better or to just get fresh air was kind of rendered, non-existent. We all had to stay home. And I feel like so many people now have to think so much more about their mental health, right? A lot of people are at risk. I say at risk, but like at risk of these thoughts that they've never thought that they would have in their lifetime, or thoughts that, like me, they kind of just buried or pushed aside or distracted themselves from, and now they got to come face to face with it because we're inside. We got nothing but time at this point, right? Some people got laid off. now they got extra time to think about stuff. I'm not in school right now, so I definitely have a lot of time on my hands. And when I'm not streaming, I'm just kind of here with my own thoughts, and trying to sort through them has been such a task, honestly. It's been, I would equate it to like doing a full day's work. I think I got off track. I think I got off track a little bit. The main point that I'm trying to get at is that I have been trying to heal, trying to move forward from the things that have been affecting me. And that's what I want to talk about today. That's what we want to get into today. Healing, how do we heal? What are the benefits of tackling things instead of just burying them? And where do we go from there? Right? I've talked to so many different people. They've given me a bunch of different bits of advice. So that's how I do things. That's how I try to heal myself. I ask a lot of people. I try to get a lot of different opinions and kind of just mash together things and see what works, see what sticks. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that, Small. It is a really good way. For me, it's been my preferred way to do things all throughout life. If I ever had a problem, my instant go-to, if I don't know something, I just go to Google. Especially when it's like relationship stuff or like deep stuff, I just go straight to Google. Somebody somewhere in the world has this exact same question, and a lot of people have been through it. I'm not the only person that's lived on planet Earth. So I'll find information somewhere and I'll try to make the most out of it. I actually watch way too many YouTube videos when I'm going through things to try to figure out, well, what can I do? What does this situation mean? Am I being, I don't know, am I being like manipulated? Am I being taken for granted? Am I the bad person in a certain situation? I just go straight to research. That's my way of doing things. I like to know facts. I like to understand situations. And I personally just hate not knowing things. That's just my way of going through it. The second thing that I have here, I have the word trauma. I'm pretty sure that I touched on it just then, but I'm pretty sure every person probably has some sort of trauma. A lot of people have a lot of different things on their mind, whether it's physical things, deep emotional things, things that you probably buried from years ago when the cat came out the door and it scared you, and now you're terrified of cats and you can't remember why. It's like every person I imagine has gone through something that's changed them for the better, for the worst, but they've buried it somewhere deep down. I don't mean to trigger any person, but I think that's just a fact of life. My trauma would be, well, I'm in a wheelchair. That seems simple enough, right? But the other things that have been traumatic, that have changed me throughout my entire life because of this one thing, it's like a, what do you call it in computer science? It's like one of those trees. I don't know how to put it, but think of it as like a tree, right? You got the root problem and everything else that stems from that. And until you really solve or go through mentally what that main thing is that is bothering you, it's so hard to just like continue through certain days. If you can handle it, or if you know you can actually solve it, if there's something that you can do about it. I can't do anything about being disabled, but there are other things that I can try to work through. So I'll give an example. Um, when I was in secondary school, I think I was first year or second year, and I used to have like a really, really negative attitude towards life. I used to have a really, really like pessimistic mindset. I never used to smile. I always used to frown. There was literally nothing that would like make me laugh outside of gaming or I guess talking to a few friends. So one day, my dad took me to school and there was this car. The car was parked next to us, and this lady, she dropped her kid off to school. My dad was taking my wheelchair out of the back. He was setting it up. The lady went back to her car, right? I just opened my door and she says morning to me. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, I probably heard her, but I didn't care, or I didn't hear her, right? The point is, I did not answer that lady. And I guess she looked at my face and she thought I was really, really sad. So she goes to my dad and she says, "What's wrong with your son?" And obviously at that point she sees the wheelchair as well, right? So she's like really, really wondering what's wrong, even though she's just thinking, hey, he's in a wheelchair, he's probably just sad about life. That's what I think anyway. She's like really talking to my dad about, well, your kid looks super depressed. Uh, she hopes everything is going well and everything. And I don't know what it was really, but I figured that that really got to my dad because my dad came to the car, he brought the chair, and he was upset. He was upset at me. He was really just telling me about how because I just sit with this sad look on my face almost all the time, makes people think that I'm having a really, really hard time in life. I know it kind of sounds silly what my dad is trying to like put across, but deep down inside, I know that he's just hurt himself, right? Because it is his fault that I am in a chair. He was the one that got into the car accident, right? He was the one driving, right? So deep down inside, I already know he just feels bad that this is just a life that I have to live. And he now has to live with the fact that people will have to see me be sad, right? And it doesn't feel good, right? It never feels good. He's lashing out at me because I'm actually just being sad about my own life. And I kid you not, from that day on, I developed this, I call it a disposition, or I don't really know what to call it actually. At this point, I just think of it as trauma. But I told myself that very day, I'm just going to start smiling. If I don't frown, my dad won't ever have to say something like that to me again. If I don't show that I'm sad, then nobody has to worry about the kid in the wheelchair being sad, right? The kid in the wheelchair will be happy. Therefore, everyone else will be happy. And I have ran with that thought, like, I guess up until this point in life. At this point, no, I'm trying to like deal with it a bit different to kind of show my real self. But I developed that mask from super young. It had it had guided every interaction with every person that I've probably known up to this point. Where I just laugh at everything. I just smile at everything. You could tell me somebody died, I probably will laugh at it. But not because I think it's funny, but just because that's something that I've developed over time now. When people ask me my feelings on things, I don't talk about myself. I get you to talk about yourself, and I'll just listen because, hey, if it's helping you out, that's great. If you don't have to worry about me, that's also great. That's how I think. But that's not necessarily a great mindset either, right? Because then you start to wonder, are you being genuine? Are you being um fake with the people that you're talking to or the people that you're saying that you want to get to know better? Even though this is something that I've had to live with or something that has shaped who I am today, still trying to like heal from it or grow from it or get out of it has been one of the more difficult things in my life um that I'm still like trying to get through. You know what I'm saying? Smart says, I mean like he could just ask you how you're doing though. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, as a kid, or I should say from since I was a kid, I've just been extremely understanding about a lot of things, right? Especially people's traumas. Or not, let me put it better. I've been understanding of why people treat people badly, especially if I know certain information. You could hurt me, and my immediate reaction is not to get upset at you because there's probably something else that's going on in your life that has caused you to react this way or has caused you to lash out this way. And most of the times I've been correct. With my dad's situation, it's very easy for me to understand that, hey, he just feels bad that it's his fault that I'm like this, right? In other situations, people have either been depressed or they've been going through a really tough time at that point in time, or I don't know, they just lost a family member, a lot of different reasons. But I've tried really hard from really young to like not lash out at people, even if I don't think I deserve what what they're doing to me. I mean, even that as well has kind of led me to taking a lot of damage is how I'd put it. If I had to put it in video game terms, from my own understanding, it's that I'm a tank, right? I'm the person that goes and I take a lot of damage from a lot of different people or different sources, and I'm doing my quote unquote job. I am taking the damage so that you can feel better, so that you can get things off your chest. But I'm just a punching bag at that point. I'm not really. I've kind of given myself this whole noble aspect of it, or told myself that, hey, I'm doing a good job. I'm helping this person by letting them beat me up, right? And them ruining me, they'll be better off. And I'm not really thinking about myself. Obviously, that does not sound good. Obviously, that sounds terrible. And nobody should really do that if you really can help yourself. But that's just how I've been through life, honestly. Honestly, that's just how I've gone through like my entire life. People only treat others badly because they want to feel good about themselves. And I think that's very true, right? One thing that someone said to me that will probably always stick with me is the people that you keep around you, whether it's relationship, some family members, friends, whatever, the people that you keep around you are a reflection of yourself as well, right? Because if you sit there like I did and take a lot of crap from people, even if you know within yourself that this is this is bad, right? What this person is saying really hurts, and they should not be saying this. That person is being a really mean person, right? If you allow those kind of things to happen within your life, the real fact about it is that that's just a direct reflection on you, right? That just means that you yourself are weak. It means that you yourself have to establish boundaries. You have to, uh set a precedent so that people just don't walk all over you, right? And when I heard that, it had me thinking, because I always wonder to myself, what can I do about my situation? I completely understand that I am not in control of other people's emotions or what other people do. I can't stop you from robbing a bank. Well, I could try to dissuade you, but that's all I could do, right? I could try to dissuade you. I can't actually stop you from robbing a bank, you know? I'm in no control over what other people do. So, if I'm in control of myself, what is it about me that I can take control of, right? What can I do to help my situation? And if the certain people that I keep around me is a reflection of myself, if that's my weakness, if it means that I don't have good boundaries, then it sounds mean, it sounds hurtful, but when you look past like the surface of it, you really just understand that that's like one of the most helpful things that you could probably hear when it comes to being in a situation like that. We're all so silly. All I heard is that you want me to rob a bank. That's not what I said at all. I'll probably just report you to the police first thing. Matter of fact, let me do that after stream. But yeah, it's like that's like one of the most helpful things that you could probably hear, you know? All that saying is going to be hard, yes, but you just need to cut certain people, right? You need to get people that are not good for you out of your life. You need to pay your taxes like Mabel just did. Model citizen, thank you. Um, you need to work on yourself, right? You need to establish those boundaries. I I watched so many YouTube videos about how to establish boundaries. I started going on TikTok, and TikTok started showing me videos about establishing boundaries. At this point, I should be like a guru or like a wall or something, you know, because of how many videos I've watched. I'm still not great at it. That's for damn sure. I'm not the best at it still because I guess for right now there aren't that many chances to exercise it. But even when I do get the chance, I am stricken with the most anxiety. I can't talk. I don't know what to say anymore. I feel like crying afterward. I feel super weak. It's like it's one of the hardest things for me to do. But, the more that I do it, the more that I practice it, the better I'll actually get at it. There's nothing else that I can do about it other than doing it. I can keep watching videos, but if I never put what I learn into practice, then it's pointless. Ross says it's hard to cut people off when you already feel lonely. And that is, dude, that is so true. Honestly, that's how I've been feeling kind of lately, right? I mean, I'm not saying that I have a lot of people to cut off. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite for me right now because I'm discovering friends that I have are people that I've talked to that have really shown me that, they're really, really good people when I feel as though the world right now is kind of filled with crappy people, right? But it's like when you feel crazy lonely or like really down and all you have around you are quote unquote toxic people that you've already grown accustomed to, then it gets so hard to try to separate yourself from them, right? It gets so difficult. There are many times throughout like every day that I feel like running back to certain people. I feel like going back to certain friends, certain exes, certain family members. I just feel like going back to people that I already feel comfortable with, right? Even though they may not be the best thing for me at all. They may be worse for me, right? But because I've already been so close to them, right? Because I've already spent so much time with them and the pain of just getting hurt kind of became second nature to me. Healing feels weird. Healing feels different. Different is not, people don't take kindly to things changing, right? Humans don't like change. So it gets harder and harder and harder. And I just want to run back and go back to people and go back in my comfort zone. But it's like, that's not good. Hey, Mimi, welcome in. It's not good, you know? It feels so bad when after a stream, I I feel as though I don't have anyone to go talk to, right? When I had people to talk to every day, but they weren't necessarily the best people for me. I could always go talk to them. I could always hit them up. Now it kind of feels empty. Now it feels lonely and it sucks. It really sucks. Which is why it comes back to I wanted to distract myself with streaming. I had some days where I just stream off schedule because I just didn't want to be alone with my thoughts. I just try to do a whole bunch of other things. But ultimately, I'm never getting over or I'm never trying to really deal with the problem, which is that I probably am not very comfortable with myself. I probably don't have enough self love within myself to be okay with myself. I want somebody else to make me feel happy. I want somebody else to make me smile. I want other people to give me what I want. And it's difficult to find it within myself, especially now that I am physically alone most of the time because of COVID and whatnot. I'm fresh out of a breakup, and it's like I just want to be around people. I just want to see. I just want all these things to be given to me from the outside. Trying to find it from within is like one of the hardest things. I'm not gonna lie, it's super hard. And I mean, if you've been through a breakup at any point, you probably know what it's like, right? It sucks, right? It sucks. It absolutely sucks. So talking to friends has helped a lot. Talking to certain people, talking to you guys. I'm not lying when I say that on stream, when I see you guys in chat and you're talking and we're over here, we're having a good time, it supremely boosts my mood, right? I'm not putting that on you guys, but I'm just saying when you do talk, when we have this interaction, then my mood goes like it skyrockets. It honestly just takes off. I have a friend. She's been there for me last from since like last year. Um, we weren't really that close up until that point because she kind of caught on that I was going through a rough time. She actually came for me. She took me out of the house. We went to a beach. We talked. I cried in front of her, and it was like like a real deep moment for me. I am like so appreciative of what she's done for me, and we don't have like full on conversations about TV shows or anything like that. But when she checks in, I feel super happy. And when she spends like a couple minutes on the phone with me or in a video call or something, I feel really happy. My entire mood just skyrockets. And I mean, this kind of jumps into the next point that I was going to talk about, which is how to heal. I mean, we've already spoken about it a lot. Good friends, right? Actual friends, not just people that you talk to. Um, they're the people there for you. You kind of really know the friends that got your back when you're going through things. Call Nick Moore, got it. No, Ross, you're good, right? Like, I'm not saying if you aren't talking to me about my traumas or if you aren't trying to help me through my things directly that you're a bad friend. That's definitely not what I'm saying, right? I think that different people it sounds kind of bad, but I think different people serve different purposes. Like I have some friends that I just go to with really, really deep stuff and they're there for me. They listen a lot. I have other friends that if I need a good time, I can always go to this person. They'll always make me laugh without fail, right? And sometimes you just need a smile. Sometimes you just need that smile to start your day or to pick you up when you're feeling super, super down. Sometimes you need friends to help with distractions. You need friends to tell you, hey, tonight is movie night. Let's spend 2 hours getting away from the world and let's just sink our time into this movie. And then we'll talk about it for 2 more hours and then you go to sleep. So it's like every person has their different, or not every person, but like they're different types of friends. They all have their roles, and all of those different roles tend to just help you out in some way. I know I said distractions don't help, like solve the problem, but sometimes you need a break. You can't always work on what's bothering you at that point in time. Sometimes you really just need to stop thinking so much. Like me, I think way too much. I overthink things. If I don't have somebody to tell me, hey, Nick, stop thinking about this, or hey, Nick, resist the thought this time, or hey, Nick, just freaking, just do something else. I would think about all the bad things in my life every single day, all day. Because that's just the type of person that I am. I need friends or I need people to kind of tell me, you need to relax. You need to sit down, do absolutely nothing. It may suck, but you'll get better at doing absolutely nothing. You need people to tell you, hey, what about that game that you were playing that you were doing really well in? You seem to be enjoying it, so why not keep going at that? And it kind of gets me out of my down mood to tell myself, hey, I actually was doing pretty good in this game. Let me just go and play some more. Let me get better because I know that I feel good when I'm doing really well in the game. You just need a support system if there are people there. And I think that a lot of people do have a support system or people that are there for them in one way or another, right? Whether it's one single person, you don't really need a forest of friends. If that's like a point that I could stress any harder, if you have one friend that is there for you, that's all you really need. If you're like me, sometimes, yeah, you might feel like a burden to that person. Or sometimes, hey, it's perfectly okay if they can't handle your thoughts or your issues at that point in time. I think that's perfectly okay. And you should never make somebody feel bad for that. But you really just need one person there. You don't need 16 different friends. So if you feel as though you don't have that many friends, trust. You don't need that many people. Emmy says, I have some friends that I love dearly, but they might not be the best to speak mental health with. But they do make me escape from my thoughts, which I need sometimes. Yeah, exactly. Like I agree with that completely. I have some friends that I will probably never go to with mental health issues because I just don't think that they're I just don't think that they are the persons for me to go with those kind of thoughts. Not saying that they are immature or not saying anything bad about those people in particular, but like I said, people have their roles. I've already established deep connections or certain how would I put it? I've established a certain way of doing things or speaking with certain people. And it's like I know I can go to Jimmy today about my mental health issues, tell Jimmy that hey, my mom just died. Please, God forbid that that happens, and I really don't know how to handle it. Like for example, I had really really good friends back in secondary school. One of them was my best friend, and another one was just a good friend of the group. And when my grandmother died, that was one of the hardest moments in my life because at that point in time, I felt like my life wasn't really worth living. I was just staying alive for my mother and my grandmother. So, with that information, you can basically take that as hey, I just lost half of my reason to live. It was the hardest moment in my life. And what made it worse was that I was overseas when she passed away. So there wasn't anything I could do. I'm so thankful that my last memory of her was me telling her I love her when I was leaving to go to the airport. That makes me feel good. At the funeral, I needed both of those friends there. I needed my best friend there to talk to him about the real stuff, and I needed my other friend there who wasn't really there for my mental health issues. Of course, he was there to help me, get through the grieving process, but he was there to make me laugh. He was the silly one in the group. He would be there telling all the silliest jokes at the worst times. But you know what? It got me to laugh. It got me to smile when I was doing nothing but crying. And it really pulled me out of, or it helped pull me out of that really, really bad spot that I was in. So I agree with that comment. I feel as though everyone doesn't have to be your personal therapist. Sometimes you just need a clone. Sometimes you just need a a team player. Sometimes you just need that person to help you play games or your movie watching buddy or your book reading pal. You just need somebody to fill the different roles and you're good. I think you will be good anyway. I know that some people feel as though, hey, I don't have any friends. What could I do about this situation? If I don't feel as though I have any support, let's say a fully extreme circumstance where, um, let's say their parents died, they got no friends, but they're living with someone, right? What could a person like that do? And I guess this question kind of goes out to you guys as well. What if a person feels as though they have no friends, they don't know who to talk to about any of their problems, right? What would you recommend to a person like that? I myself think if you truly feel you have no one to talk to or that no one knows anything about what's going on in your head, for me, if I was in that situation, I might just go talk to anyone, right? I understand that I now have this bad mindset towards the general public that, hey, people are more bad than they are good. But at the same time, that's probably not even true. That's probably not even true. When I go talk to random people, like the guys in my chat room, a lot of them are really nice actually. I may not know them, and sometimes I think that might be just a lot better, right? If a person doesn't even know you, they can't really like judge where you came from. Sometimes talking to a random person might just be the best thing. They will have no kind of bias towards anything that's really going on in your life. They don't know anything. So maybe just talking to a random person. Oh, Ross actually gives a good one. He says, I might just find a different outlet, like writing a diary or something, but that might not be the best solution. It might not be the best solution, but it's something else that they could do. And you're completely right. I forgot about diaries. I know for me, my therapeutic thing is talking it out. Some other people say, hey, let me just write my thoughts out. If I don't want other people to know, really, then getting the thoughts out of your head onto paper or onto, I guess a computer or a laptop or whatever, getting them out of your head is like the most important thing because you're getting it out of your head. You're decluttering your mind space. So now, hey, I have a lot more free space in my mind. What do I want to put in there? Trust me, you'll begin to feel bored. You will begin to feel bored. I've gotten to that point so many times where I've talked about my problems to myself or to other people so much that when I think about my problems, I just get bored and I'm like, well, what can I do instead? And then that's where the healing process really starts, in my opinion. Then that's when I say, well, now's the time that I really want to exercise because, hey, I have nothing else to do. I don't want to think about this anymore. Why not get fit? Or why not go stream? Or why not go do that school project that I put off for like 5 weeks? I've actually gone through so much work after like reaching that point. Nelvis J says, ever tried meditation? I've actually tried meditation myself. I think meditation is so difficult. I used to underestimate meditation so much because I just thought, hey, you just gotta sit still and think about nothing, right? Oh my God, that was the biggest lie that I told myself. That was easy. Freaking meditation is so difficult, especially like if you're a beginner. In my opinion anyway. Because but you're like me or if you're an adult anyway, or even a teenager, I think. You have so many thoughts running through your mind. You have so many doubts. You have so many deadlines and things that you got to worry about in the real world. And you're there like, can I really not think about anything for 5 minutes? For 2 minutes? Some videos that I've watched kind of say, well, the thought will be there. You acknowledge it, but you just let it go instead of thinking more on it. I tried that, but that's so difficult. Exactly. It's not easy at all. But yeah, once you do get it, it's like one of the greatest feelings. I've had two moments in my life, my 26 years of living. I mean, if you don't count being a baby, let's say like I don't know, 23 years. I've had two moments where I felt completely at peace. One time was actually in meditation, and the other time it was like before I got really, really sick. The one time in meditation, I actually reached that point where I had nothing in my mind. I was like completely blank, and I'm being dead serious. I was super blank. I had no thoughts in my head for like a solid 2 minutes, and it felt so good. I couldn't feel my body. I thought I was falling asleep, but I know that I was still there. I could feel that my shoulders dropped, my jaw was unclenched. I'm not tensing up. I was just relaxed. It was such a great experience, and honestly, I would recommend giving meditation a shot, even if it's just like 5 minutes to start your day. I used to try doing it the first thing when I wake up. I just like sit in my bed, try to meditate for like 5 minutes. I turn on some like aquatic sounds because I really like the ocean and try to do that. But I kind of fell out of that practice. I got to try to get back into that. But it was such a good experience. And the other time, I got extremely sick the next day. But the current day that I was feeling really at peace, I I guess I hit that point again where I was like really bored of talking about my own problems. And I just kind of I didn't feel like playing any games. I didn't feel like distracting myself. I didn't feel like thinking about my problems. I just wanted to exist. I noticed how blue my room was. I noticed how good outside my room looks, with the sun and the grass. I noticed all the different smells. I was like, today is a really good day. Today's a fantastic day, and I could not figure out why I felt like that. But I guess I just hit that point once again where, damn, I'm just chilling. I'm actually just having a great day. I'm actually being happy with being alive. Emmy says, it's so hard. That's a big part of KBT, and you kind of need to practice it all the time to get the hang of it. Clearing your mind. Sorry. I'm reading two different comments because on my screen their names are both red. Or I guess it's CBT in English. So what is CBT? Is that a form of meditation? Clearing your mind is amazing. You're like, did that just happen? Yeah. What do they say? That it's an all of this world experience? And it truly feels like that. My uncle used to try to get us to try meditation way, way, way back as children, but I'm glad that I try doing it every now and again in my own time as an adult because that is honestly one of the most satisfying feelings that I've experienced. So we've had three different answers so far. We've had reach out to friends, talk to people, talk to your support group. That's what they're there for. If you're like me and you feel like you're a burden, try your best to fight that feeling. They are there for you. They probably are not that stressed out by you going to them. They're probably even happier that you go to them, you talk to them, because now they know that, hey, my friend is going through something and they are really trying their best to get themselves out of that position. We've had writing things down, noting stuff in your journal, noting stuff in your diary, on your notepad, wherever you feel like writing it. Write it down, get it out of your head, clear your mind, because once your mind is clear, then you have a lot more space to put other things that you want to do, other things that you feel like you would rather spend your time doing. And we've had meditation. I again would recommend meditation. If you've never tried it before, just give it a shot for like 5 to 10 minutes. You can do it for like, I don't know, 3 days in a week, just for a trial run. If you ever reach that spot of like pure Zen, you will understand what I'm talking about and you'll probably get addicted to the feeling. I kid you not. I kid you not. So Emmy says CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy, a kind of therapy where you learn to think in another way. It might be used for anxiety disorders or phobias, for example. A kind of therapy where you learn to think about things in another way. That's interesting. I can't say that I've been through any type of therapy like that, but that's kind of how I try to tackle things sometimes. Like just directly acknowledging, hey, I'm thinking about this thing negative like far too long. How about we just try it from a different angle? Or sometimes you just need to do the opposite, right? If you're really, really understanding, then you kind of let things go a lot of the time, or you let people bully you for the dumbest reasons, but you're like, hey, I understand why they're doing it. It's happened to me way too much. Sometimes you just need to think, I'm very understanding, yes, but this person could really not do this to me, you know? This person could really do better. Or at the very least, I don't have to put up with what this person is doing. I think that that's such an important take so that people don't allow themselves to be ran down to the point of depression. And if you're already depressed, it does not help in any way. If you are already going through something, or before you even get to that point, I would suggest, or I would recommend, or I would preach, or whatever, that you really just do your best to set up boundaries, or like learn to set up boundaries quick, because people will take advantage of you. People will see a weakness in you and try to see how far they can push it. That's how people end up getting manipulated, getting gaslit, getting taken for granted, all those terrible things, right? That's how it starts. And you never really notice it in the beginning, but it's only until like the end that you really say, well, crap, I really just let this person get away with so much that no, they're just there saying to themselves, you're so accustomed to letting me get away with this. Why are you changing up? And they are actually right. You are the person. I'm kind of talking to myself with this one, right? But it's like you're the person that has allowed this type of behavior for such a long time. You're actually the one that's switching it up. They've been honest about how they are going to treat you from a very long time, right? They're the ones that have been getting away with murder. Let's put it like that. And for what? What do you get from it other than stress, anxiety, more stress, bad mental health, like it does not help whatsoever. I think that kind of thinking, even without having to go to somebody to kind of guide you through cognitive behavioral therapy, if you can try to have that kind of mindset towards things in general, especially if the way that you have been thinking about it already hasn't been like increasing your ability to deal with it, try looking at it from a different point of view. Try looking at it from some other angle. And again, if you have people that you can talk to, they can probably help with that. A lot of people can give you different opinions on how to go about things, and we just come right back to the beginning. Guys, let me know. Are you guys finding anything that I've been talking about useful? Has it been teaching you anything? Has it been useful to you in any way? Let me know, because a part of me is kind of wondering at the same time. If it's been a good segment so far. I want to keep doing this in future, and I want to get better. So if there are things that I could probably do better, feel free to let me know. I I'm still a little bit nervous, not gonna lie. You could probably tell by the way that I'm talking, but I do want to get better at it. So if there's any way or anything that I could do to improve, then feel free to share.